The Santa Fe Prison Riot of 1980 by William Lynch and Keith Kelly.
In Santa Fe, New Mexico, on February 2nd of 1980, a riot began in a maximum security prison. During this riot, a total of 33 inmates died and 12 officers were taken hostage. The riot was caused by a mass overcrowding of the prison, which held at the time 1,156 inmates, when the maximum capacity of the prison was only about 970 inmates. Along with this, several non-violent prisoners were held in captivity with several repeat violent offenders. The prison was incredibly unsanitary, and most of the prisoners were underfed, if fed at all. The prison also began to shut down all of its rehabilitation programs, such as educational and recreational times for the inmates. With this, inmates began to protest the harsh conditions, which was only met with the use of tear gas and extreme violence by the guards. Many of the guards were also untrained and lacked experience in dealing with violent criminals. The riot ended after about 36 hours with more than 200 inmates sustaining injury. In the end, only 6 prisoners were charged with the longest addition to anyone's sentence being 9 years. Many of the prisoners were found to have only sustained injuries due to fleeing, and the riot was only staged by a handful of inmates.
The significance of this riot was that it displayed how depriving inmates of opportunities to reform as well as basic human rights leads to violence and rebellions. The riot also helps to underline the idea of separation of more violent repeat offenders and lower-class, non-violent criminals for the safety of everyone. It also displays how prisons need a staff that is both well-trained and non-aggressive towards the inmates to promote a stable and hospitable environment for the prisoners. Many reforms were ordered after the Santa Fe prison riot. Many of the reforms dealt with the betterment of prison life to give prisoners better living conditions, namely limiting overcrowding in prisons and a mandatory 6 hours of meaningful activity for the prisoners. Another reform made was pay increase for correctional facility guards, as well as more in-depth training to increase the productivity of the officers. Another reform required more guards to be staffed in maximum security prisons to make a better ratio of guards to inmates.